beautiful, beautiful, beautiful people. It has been a long time coming, but I'm back, hopefully for good. Welcome back to my channel. My name is TatiV, and if you're a true crime lover like me, go ahead and leave a comment, and of course, hit that subscribe button. I post videos every Monday and Fridays. Mondays will be regular true crime videos. Friday will be Freaky Friday videos. That is where we'll discuss Freaky Friday content, freak accidents, freak deaths, decapitation, cannibalism, and also gruesome crime scenes. So if any of that interests you, you might as well subscribe and stay. It's not like you have anything else to do. No, I'm just kidding. Before we get into the video, I just want to talk about a little bit about where I've been and everything that's been going on in these last couple of weeks. First of all, if you want to go ahead and skip to the video, I will leave a timestamp on the screen of where you can fast forward to. First of all, thank you all so much, so very much from the bottom of my heart for all of the well wishes. Thank you so much for your patience. And just, you guys are amazing and so awesome, so sweet and so caring. And I don't know what I expected, but I really didn't expect this much love on this channel. I didn't know how this would go, honestly. So my son had to have surgery last Wednesday, June 9th. It wasn't an emergency surgery, but it was a surgery that had to be done ASAP. So if you don't know, my son was born at 26 weeks and 3 days. He was 2 pounds and 1.2 ounces. He was born November 7th, but his due date was February 10th, 2021. And this is how little he was. This is his pamper that I'm going to keep for the rest of his life. So once he gets older, I can show him how small he was and how much he has grown. So these are made by Pampers. I didn't even know they made Pampers this size, but I guess it'll make sense for the little baby babies. And he is a strong fighter, a strong trooper. He's really amazing. He's 7 months old, and he's been through more than me in my 24 years of life. And he has just broken down so many obstacles and so many barriers. It's amazing, and sometimes I can't even wrap my head around it. How is he this strong? But back to the surgery. Okay, so he had an MRI done, and I'll probably post a picture of the results. And he has what's called hydrocephalus. So that just means when the head is big and it's full of fluid. So his head was extremely big than his body was. So they had to put what's called a shunt, where they insert a catheter in his right frontal, and it goes all the way down to just outside of his abdomen. And the catheter will release the fluid from just outside of his brain, which is called a ventricle, and it'll go just outside of his stomach, and that's where the fluid will store itself. So he had to get that in, and right now you can tell that something's in his head, well, in his body, because of course he's small, but like the doctor said, once he gets bigger and his hair grows, then you won't even notice it's there. But they did say that it's a possibility that he might not be able to play physical activities such as football, because of course tackling and hockey. Oh yeah, and he'll have the shunt in for the rest of his life. Of course, as a mother, I was extremely scared at first because I've never heard of such thing. I've never known anybody to have it, so I didn't know what it was. Now that he has it, and I see so much improvement, it was definitely worth it, is what I'm trying to say. And the doctor said that if we didn't get it, or if they didn't act on it as soon as possible, then the fluid that was building up in his head would have eventually messed with his brain. And of course, we all know that the brain controls everything. So once again, thank you all so much for being patient and for still remaining here if you're still here, and just understanding that life happens. Let's go ahead and get into today's video. Today we are going to discuss Joe Metheny, who was the HumanBurger stand man, and that's all I'm gonna say. Warning, this content is for educational purposes only. Some viewers might find this disturbing. Parental discretion is advised. Joe Roy Metheny was born on March 2nd, 1955. He was neglected as a child. His father was an alcoholic and was killed in a car accident when he was 6 years old. According to his mother, Joe grew up very poor and she worked very hard as a waitress, barmaid, and food truck driver. According to Joe, she neglected her 6 children while working double shifts. His mother supplied her children with a normal life. They never went without food. Joe stated that his mother would send him to live with random families, but his mother denied that. His mother also stated that Joe was beyond average in school and very polite. If he was neglected, that was his problem. Joe lied by saying his mother had died. In 1973, at 18 years old, he joined the U.S. Army. He served in Germany. While there, he became addicted to narcotics. He contacted his mother after he was enlisted in the Army. She states, quote, "He just kept drifting further and further away. I think the worst thing that ever happened to him was drugs," end quote. Joe, who was also known as Tiny, was a fairly large man. He was 6'1" and roughly 500 pounds. He would spend his time hanging out at bars around South Baltimore, living in makeshift camps. He spent his money on illegal narcotics and alcohol. He kept a steady job working as a forklift driver. People that knew him described him as an intelligent, well-spoken, and well-mannered man. His murder spree began in 1994 when he met and murdered 39-year-old Kathy Ann Magaziner, who was a prostitute at the time. He buried her body in a shallow grave where he worked. The body stayed there for 2 years. He later admitted that he strangled her, dug up her skeletal remains 6 months after he killed her, and put her head in a box and threw it in the trash. That same year, Joe's wife, who was also heavily on narcotics, ran away with their son. As you could imagine, this triggered an evil side of him. While looking for his wife and son, this would soon turn into a murder spree. He went searching under Hanover Street Bridge and spotted 2 men sleeping on a dirty mattress. He believed these 2 men did illegal narcotics with his wife. Joe thought they might have knew where his wife and son were. When they gave him no indication on where they could be, he killed them both with an axe, and their bodies were found on August 2nd, 1995. That same night, streets. Not even 6 months after he was released, he murdered Kimberly Lynn Spicer in November of 1996. He stabbed her with a knife. A month after killing her, Joe asked a friend of his if he could help move the body from his work site. On December 15th, the friend reported this incident to police, and Joe was arrested and charged with murder the same day. At some point, Joe Metheny comes up with a great idea to sell human flesh barbecue burgers. He worked on a food truck that was owned by the company he worked for. Back at his trailer, he would mix his victims' flesh with beef and pork, forming them into hamburger patties. He would sell these human burgers to hundreds of people in the community. Whenever he ran out of his special meat, he would just simply find another victim. On December 8th, 1996, he kidnapped Rita Kummer, attempted to inappropriately touch her. Allegedly, he did narcotics with her in his trailer that was parked at his work location. She turned down intercourse with him and ran out of the trailer. He chased her, beat her, and dragged her back into his trailer. He pulled down her pants, attempted to inappropriately touch her. According to Rita, he stated that he was going to kill her by saying, quote, "I'm going to kill you and bury you in the woods with the other girls," end quote. She broke free through a window and immediately went to police. While in custody, Joe told police, quote, "The human body tastes very similar to pork. If you mix together, no one can tell the difference," end quote. During his confession, he explained in detail about each of the murders he committed. He even talked about him murdering the fisherman, which he originally got away with. During his confession, these were his remarks. Quote, "The only thing I feel bad about in any of this is I didn't get to murder the two motherfuckers I was really after, and that's my ex-old lady and the bastard she got hooked up with," end quote. Quote, "So the next time you're riding down the road and you happen to see an open pit beef stand that you've never seen before, make sure you think about this story before you take a bite of that sandwich," end quote. The trial began in 1997, starting with Rita Kummer. He was sentenced to 50 years for kidnapping and attempted assault. He was acquitted of attempting to murder her. In 1998, he was sentenced to death for the murder of Kimberly Lynn Spicer. During his hearing, he stated the reason why he committed these murders is because he enjoyed it, got a rush out of it, and a high out of it. He had no other excuse as to why he committed these heinous crimes. That same year, he pleaded guilty for the murder of Kathy Ann Magaziner. Prosecutors fought for the death penalty in this particular case. He received a life sentence. The death sentence he received for the murder of Kimberly Spicer was reversed in 2000 and turned into life in prison without the chance of parole. On August 5th, 2017, Joe Metheny was found dead in his cell at the Western Correctional Institution in Cumberland, Maryland. He died at the age of 62. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Let me know what you all think about this story or about the video down in the comment below. If you have any Freaky Friday or any freak accidents, freak deaths, or anything like that that you would like for me to